The image of Caitlin Clark clutching her face, tears streaming down her cheeks, sent shockwaves through the WNBA. It was a routine play, or so it seemed. Clark, driving to the basket with her signature fearlessness, suddenly recoiled in pain. An opponent's hand, whether intentional or not, had found its way into Clark's eye. The diagnosis, a scratched cornea. The pain was immediate and intense, and the image of her crumpling to the floor was broadcasted across the nation, leaving fans and fellow players in a state of shock and concern. The incident was not just a physical blow to Clark but a psychological one as well, as it raised questions about the safety protocols in place within the league. This incident, while seemingly isolated, brought to light a simmering issue within the league: player safety. The aftermath of the incident was telling. Fans and analysts debated the play, questioning the officiating and the level of physicality allowed in the WNBA. Clark herself, known for her resilience, seemed shaken. The debates were not just confined to sports shows and social media, they spilled over into living rooms and workplaces, with everyone having an opinion on what had transpired. The league's officials were put under a microscope, with their decisions and policies being scrutinized more than ever before. This wasn't just about a scratch. It was about a young star feeling vulnerable, questioning the very league she had set ablaze with her talent. The incident became a flashpoint, forcing a conversation about the physical demands placed on WNBA players. It highlighted the need for better protective measures and perhaps even a reevaluation of the rules governing physical contact in the game. Clark's vulnerability was a stark contrast to her usual image of invincibility, making the incident all the more poignant and impactful. Clark, in her rookie season, had already established herself as a relentless competitor, playing with a ferocity that captivated audiences. But at what cost? The incident served as a stark reminder that the brilliance of these athletes shouldn't come at the expense of their well-being. Her determination and skill had made her a fan favorite, but this injury showed the darker side of the sport, where the physical toll on players can sometimes be too high. It was a wake-up call for everyone involved in the league, from the players to the coaches to the fans. The WNBA, still a relatively young league, found itself at a crossroads. The incident involving Clark, a rising star with immense marketability, exposed a vulnerability that threatened to overshadow the league's progress. The question became, could the WNBA provide a safe and supportive environment for its players while maintaining the level of competition that fans had come to expect? The league's response to this incident would be crucial in determining its future direction. Would they implement new safety measures? Would they change the rules to protect players better? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain. The incident had sparked a necessary and overdue conversation about the balance between athletic excellence and player safety. Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA was nothing short of electrifying. From the moment she was drafted, there was a palpable buzz in the air, a sense that something special was about to unfold. From the moment she stepped onto the court, her talent was undeniable. Her dribbling was precise, her movements fluid, and her ability to read the game was beyond her years. Her court vision was exceptional, her passes things of beauty. She had an uncanny ability to find her teammates in the perfect position, often making no-look passes that left both defenders and spectators in awe. She could drain three-pointers with ease, leaving defenders grasping at air. Her shooting range was virtually limitless, and she had the confidence to take shots from anywhere on the court. And her competitive fire, her sheer will to win, was infectious. She played every game with a passion and intensity that inspired her teammates and captivated fans. She led the league in assists, her no-look passes becoming the stuff of legend. Her ability to create scoring opportunities for her teammates was unparalleled. Her scoring prowess was equally impressive, her three-pointers raining down from all angles. She had a knack for making difficult shots look easy, and her scoring ability kept opponents on their toes. She was named Rookie of the Year, a foregone conclusion given her dominance. Her performance throughout the season was nothing short of spectacular, and she earned every accolade that came her way. But Clark's impact extended far beyond the stat sheet. She brought a new level of excitement to the game, and her presence was felt both on and off the court. She was a fan favorite, her jersey becoming a top seller. Fans of all ages were drawn to her charisma and her genuine love for the game. Attendance soared at games where she played, arenas buzzing with an energy not felt in years. Her ability to draw crowds was a testament to her star power and the excitement she brought to the league. Clark, with her infectious enthusiasm and dazzling skills, had become the face of the WNBA. She was more than just a player. She was a symbol of the league's bright future. She was the player the league had been waiting for, a generational talent capable of elevating the sport to new heights. Her impact was felt not just in the WNBA but across the entire basketball community. The WNBA had poured resources into marketing Clark, recognizing her potential to draw in a wider audience. She was featured prominently in promotional materials, and her face became synonymous with the league's brand. And she had delivered, exceeding even the loftiest expectations. Her performances on the court were matched by her grace and humility off it, making her a beloved figure in the sport. Her rookie season was a testament to her work ethic, her dedication to the game, and her sheer love for basketball. She had set a new standard for what it meant to be a rookie in the WNBA. She had breathed new life into the league, igniting a passion among fans both old and new. Caitlin Clark's rookie season was not just a personal triumph, it was a pivotal moment for the WNBA, heralding a new era of excitement and growth. The physicality of the WNBA is undeniable. The players are bigger, faster, stronger, the competition is fierce, every possession a battle. For Caitlin Clark, the transition from college to the pros was an eye-opener. She had always been a target, a player opponents wanted to shut down. But the intensity in the WNBA was different. Clark, despite her slight frame, never backed down from a challenge. She played with a fearlessness that bordered on reckless, diving for loose balls, absorbing contact as she drove to the basket. She was a warrior, giving her all in every game, but the physical toll was beginning to show. The constant pounding took its toll. Bruises lingered. Minor injuries became nagging reminders of the unforgiving nature of the game. Clark, used to being the biggest, strongest player on the court, found herself outmatched physically at times. The mental strain was equally taxing. The pressure of carrying the hopes of a franchise, of being the face of a league, weighed heavily on Clark's shoulders. She was constantly in the spotlight, her every move scrutinized. The criticism at times was relentless. The pressure to perform, to live up to the hype, was immense. Europe beckons, a safer haven for WNBA stars. As Caitlin Clark weighed her future, the European leagues beckoned. The allure of playing overseas was not just about basketball, it was about a lifestyle change, a new adventure. The idea of immersing herself in a different culture, learning new languages, and experiencing life in historic cities was incredibly appealing. Long considered a viable alternative for WNBA players, European basketball offered a different style of play, a different pace of life. The games were often held in picturesque cities where the charm of the old world met the excitement of modern sports. The season was shorter, the travel less demanding. This meant more time for recovery, less wear and tear on the body, and the opportunity to explore the beautiful locales of Europe during downtime. And for Clark, perhaps the most enticing aspect was the perceived difference in officiating. The European leagues were known for their strict adherence to rules, ensuring that the games were fair and that players were protected. European leagues had a reputation for calling a tighter game, for protecting their star players. This was a stark contrast to the often physical and sometimes brutal nature of the WNBA, where players like Clark felt they were not given enough protection. The physicality that permeated the WNBA was less prevalent, replaced by a greater emphasis on skill and finesse. This allowed players to showcase their technical abilities and basketball IQ, rather than just their physical prowess. For Clark, who had grown increasingly frustrated with the lack of protection from referees, Europe offered a glimmer of hope. It was a chance to play the game she loved in an environment that valued her safety and skill. The financial incentives were also alluring. European teams with their wealthy owners and passionate fan bases were willing to pay top dollar for WNBA talent. This financial security was a significant factor for many players considering the move. European teams, backed by wealthy owners and passionate fan bases, were willing to pay top dollar for WNBA talent. The financial packages often included not just salaries but also housing, transportation, and other perks that made the transition smoother. For Clark, who had already achieved a level of fame and marketability rarely seen in women's basketball, the earning potential in Europe was significant. The opportunity to expand her brand internationally was another enticing prospect. Beyond the financial and stylistic considerations, there was a sense that European basketball offered a greater appreciation for the women's game. The fans were passionate, the arenas were filled, and the atmosphere was electric. In many countries, women's basketball rivaled the men's game in popularity. This level of support and recognition was something that many WNBA players longed for. The arenas were packed, the atmosphere electric. The fans were not just spectators, they were part of the game, creating an environment that was both supportive and exhilarating. For Clark, who had always been an advocate for growing the game globally, Europe represented an opportunity to be a part of something truly special. It was a chance to contribute to the global growth of women's basketball, to inspire young girls across the continent, and to leave a lasting legacy. The WNBA at a crossroads, can the league protect its own? Caitlin Clark's potential departure sent shockwaves through the WNBA. Here was a generational talent, a player who had captivated audiences and elevated the league's profile, considering taking her talents overseas. The reasons were complex, a confluence of factors that exposed a deeper issue within the league: player safety. The WNBA, in its pursuit of competitiveness and physicality, had inadvertently created an environment where player safety was sometimes compromised. The officiating, often criticized for its inconsistency, had failed to adequately protect players like Clark, who were subjected to overly aggressive defense and questionable calls. The league's response to Clark's concerns had been met with mixed reactions. While there was an acknowledgement of the need to address player safety, there was also a sense that the league was reluctant to make any drastic changes that might compromise the physicality that had become a hallmark of the WNBA. The situation was further complicated by the league's financial realities. The WNBA, despite its growing popularity, still operated on a much smaller scale than the NBA. Salaries were lower, travel accommodations were less luxurious, and resources were limited. This financial disparity made it difficult for the WNBA to compete with the lucrative offers being made by European teams.